I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods 10 to the Sky. So jumping back into some more All the Mods 10 to the Sky, boy oh boy, I have been working on tech this, tech that, and even a little bit of this tech. But today, I think I want to play around with another tech mod that's also magic themed. Yes, Ars Nouveau. Hey, now hold up just a minute, because today is World Download Day, and before you go anywhere, I did want to mention that if you're a supporter of any tier, be sure to get the World Download. Everything that will be done from today's episode will be in that World Download. You can find it over in the Discord. If you're a supporter, whether that is on Patreon, here as a YouTube member, or even on Twitch, definitely be sure to check that out. Definitely the best way to support is, of course, through the Discord. So be sure to join the Discord, link down in the description below, and get your world download today. Now, yes, back to Ars Nouveau. Yes, don't just leave yet because I said I'm doing Ars Nouveau. I know some of you do not like Ars Nouveau, and I still don't understand quite why. Is it because it's just so powerful that you despise it? What is the reason? I would love to know. Like, do you enjoy Ars Nouveau? Let me know down in the comments below, by the way. Because me personally, I absolutely love this mod for many reasons. One being that it is a really stylish mod. Like, the armor actually looks pretty darn good. And there's a couple of different styles you can choose from. But I mean, there's several other things that Ars Nouveau does that you may have never played around with. For example, moving source around, much like any other cable, we can take this power source that is from this mod and we can move it about, generate it in many different ways, and we can turn this into physical action in the world. If you, for example, want to create a machine that can break blocks in world, well, Ars has got you covered. But if you wanted that to break it and then smelt the item at the same time, Ars has you covered. I mean, what if you wanted to break the block and then smelt the block into an item and then throw the item into a chest that's all the way on the other side of the world? Ars has got you covered. No, but all jokes aside, there is tons of utility. And I think the biggest limitation within Ars mod itself is you coming up with the spells that can do those tasks. And I know I'm rambling on right now, but today I primarily want to get fitted and prepared for making all those spells. So we need to do spell crafting today, but primarily I want to get all of the gear. And we should be able to go all the way from no gear at all through these mods, technically Ars and Ars, well, Elemental, and also the add-on that is added from all the mods. We should be able to get at least AllTheModium gear, at least so I hope, and also all the accessories to go with it. So before we do that, let's talk about Source and how I want to handle Source. So I have a plan for Source. I kind of want to generate Source in a bundle and have that bundle fed up through the center of this building. I think that would look really, really sick. And Ars, whenever you're sending source around, goes in these pulses. So it'll kind of look like the middle of the base is sort of pulsing. For right now, I think this platform that I just built above these farms, I think this will be a pretty decent spot for us to have several of our Ars related things. And I think this is going to work out just fine. Now, there is one thing I do need to move. I did put a supporter sign in here. And yes, I definitely need to move this supporter sign. And there we go. Perfect. So that way it gives me access to my AE system because I really want to be able to move my AE cables around. Let's see. I have dense, and yeah, I can just continue a dense cable, and we should be able to wrap the dense cable around and facade it. That is going to be another really important thing. I gotta facade this. I want it to match this orange Luminex blocks. Yeah, that's going to look really nice. And let's see, does AE keep the brightness and everything? I mean, sort of. Honestly, you can't really tell. It's not 100% bright, and it does have the shadows. It doesn't do it, but you'll never know. You'll never know. If I hadn't pointed out, you wouldn't have noticed. But I am going to need to get AE cables up and around through here. This is going to be important because I do want to automate a few things within Ars. For example, all of the essences. Now, there are 8 individual essences that I need to get automated right off the bat, and we also probably want to fully automate source gems. That is going to be pretty important as well, because all of these also need to be fed source gems. So to do this, I can also use modular routers. And this is probably one of the best ways, I think, to handle all of this, considering there are so many. So using a distribution module, since it does support up to 8, and we have 8 different essences we need to make, this is actually going to be perfect. And we can all handle this with probably just 2 modular routers. Or you know what, maybe 3 modular routers. So we have a modular router that sends lapis into our imbuement chambers here. We have a modular router that pulls the source gems back into our applied energistic system. And then we have another system that takes source gems and fills all of these. And oh, maybe we do need 4. We can have another one that pulls them out. And the reason we need so many is due to those buffer slots. I mean, we only have 1 slot to work with, so 4 modular routers isn't honestly that bad. And you know what? I think we can just use an interface directly, and then we can use the modular routers and have those tapped in to this interface. Since we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here to interface all in. This can do the pulling. This is called, can also do the sending and everything. Now, another mod that I really should have made a while ago is the personal shrinking device. This is great. So I am going to need to shrink myself. So I right click and I can set my scale. For example, I want to go down to like -80%, and we can go underneath blocks. This is going to be kind of important, especially when I'm configuring all of our distribution modules or distributor modules. Well, let's start to design this. I'll place a modular router here, 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 and here. And we shouldn't have to worry too much about this just yet, but we do need an access point in the back to be able to tell our interface what to keep in stock. And this can do a couple of things. The interface can receive items, which is fantastic. So we can send to it, like for example, if we had a hopper, it would just go right into our applied energy system. But we can also keep items in stock. So if we have a certain amount, we can drag that item to keep it in stock. For example, we want lapis in stock. That is our first thing. We want to be able to convert lapis. So by doing this, this gives us the ability to pull lapis into the system. And then we can set this to, for example, keep 64 in stock, which I think is more than fine. And there we go. So now we just need to tell a modular router, hey, pull that lapis into my inventory and then send it to a location. For example, these imbuement chambers right here. And so I can use a puller module. We'll set that to pull from the right. And then on here, I am going to whitelist this, because there is a chance that when items are being fed into an interface, there is a chance if something is fast enough, it can pull the item that is being input into the interface out. So we probably also want to filter these just to make sure that the only thing that gets pulled out of the interface is the lapis that is required here. And we need to make sure that that side is set, which we're going to be pulling from the right side of this modular router. And yeah, when we put this in here, it should slowly start pulling lapis in, right? And speed upgrades will make this a lot faster, but I don't even think this really needs to be fast. So now let's talk about how we're going to send the items from here to here. That's going to be through the distributor module. We're going to transfer out of the router. Round robin is perfectly fine. And in this case, we shouldn't need any filters because we're just simply going to be sending on the transfer out. But we do need to go here, and you can't be flying to be able to do this. Oh, maybe they fixed it. It looks like you can fly. Oh, that's so good. So I guess now you can actually fly to set the sides. So I'm holding down shift and clicking. Oh, that's so nice. This has been something I wish was fixed for a long time, and it looks like it did get fixed. Oh, thank goodness. Anyways, so completely ignore what I said there. You apparently can fly. I've got the sides just set to the top. With these, you can probably set it on any side. And then once I put this in here, that's going to start sending the lapis out, and it's going to slowly be converted. I want to get source set up so that way we can speed this up. But for right now, it's just going to go super slow. All of these things are going to be slow until we get source moved about. We're going to work on that here in a little bit. Let's finish the rest of this up. So now I've got to pull the finished product out of here. And so finished product, let's see, we can do that on this modular router on the other side. It's also going to be a distributor module. However, this is going to be saying, hey, pull out of here. And so we'll shift right click to set that. And then this is going to be send into router, transfer into router, changing this into that mode. And this also needs to be whitelist. And we're going to say only pull in source gems. And that's as simple as that is going to be. That goes in here. And you can see we have a source gem that built up. And we just want to transfer that over. So this is where we're going to need a sender module. And the sender module, we're just going to set that. This one doesn't need a filter or anything like that. So we place that in, and that's going to send it directly into the interface, which just goes into our AE system. And then a new one's restocked. So at this point, these are all automated. So we're about halfway there because we still now have to get all of these imbuement chambers set up. Yes, yes, yes. I want to set the logistics for them up first because they're all the same. What's different is the pedestals that end up going around them. Before I set up the autocraft though, let's go ahead and just make sure that everything is going to function correctly. So we need to get 3 specific items for each of these essences on these pedestals, and I did make them into the platform, and I just have them placed directly on the chamber. And this should work, and I don't think they'll interact with each other. There's a little bit of a range conflict that can happen if you put these too close, but I think this will be more than fine. So yes, after getting all of the essence required items on the outside, it is all working. You see crafting earth essence, air essence, conjure essence, abjuration essence. This essence we're going to work on here in a second. Water essence, manipulation essence, and fire essence. This is the Animania essence. So this is going to require us to have wither skeleton skulls, which shouldn't be too difficult, especially since we do have mystical agriculture. But let's get this automated first, then we'll work on this one. And so just like this, instead of lapis, we now need to take our source gems that we're generating, and we need to keep in stock a stack in here, so that way we can distribute that to all of these in that same fashion. So with the distribution module, I'm going to go ahead and select the top. I like to usually set like top as the way to go if you're sending an item, if I can anyways. And so all of those are going to get sent like this. It'll be in round robin as well, so we don't have to worry about anything going into one in particular over anything else. So there we go. All of that set. This is now maxed out. It can only have up to 8 per card. But yeah, you do have multiple slots, so you could use one modular router and you could have more places you're sending things. You would just need more of these cards. So this is going to be handled, I think, on this one right here. So we do need to pull out our source gems. This is going to be pulling from the back of this. We'll whitelist. We'll make sure we say, hey, only allow the source gems to go in there. So whenever I put that in, that should pull. And then when I put the distributor module in here, that should then start filling these with source gems. Well, if they can accept a source gem anyways. Now is the hard part. We need to pull out of here, and we're going to have to filter every single one of them. I also want to make sure I get this one done, even though we don't have any in here yet. First things first, we want to make sure that is send into or transfer into modular router. And then I'm just going to select the bottom. Like I said, that's just a thing I like to do, but you could probably select any side of this. But you know, it's a pretty good habit to get into. Like the top is usually input, bottom is usually output, and some machines just have that by default. It's a pretty good habit to get into, like I said. And then over here in the whitelist, I'm just going to have these set. You can hit A while over here to set your bookmarks, and then you can just click and drag to get these items into here, which makes filtering so much easier, being able to do it like this, where you don't actually have to have the item already. And now with all of that in, the only things that should make its way back into this modular router is going to be those items. You can see one has already entered here. And then last thing we need to do is just simply send it back in to there, which is on the bottom, back into the interface. And so on the down, we're sending, and this one doesn't need a filter because the only thing entering the buffer is the thing we need to send. So that goes in. Another item should get pulled out if it's finished. And yeah, it happens so fast you don't even see it. But we do see lasers. We're going to fix those in a minute with the camouflage card. But let's focus on getting this one up and running, right? Because this is kind of important. So this requires a golden apple, bone meal, and the source, but also wither skeleton skull. And we can actually make wither skeleton skulls pretty easily without even needing withers. This is going to require us to dabble a little bit inside of the mystical agriculture for these mobs. So we do need soul dust. Soul dust requires a multi-stage smelting operation, but we have soulium dust. We get that from sieving, so that's not a problem. It looks like we can also get soulium essence from a seed too, but like I said, we get it from sieving. And speaking of mystical agriculture, I have gone through the process of leveling up these crystals. So I do have a supremium crystals, and I have just enough at this moment to be able to make a master infusion crystal, which I 100% recommend making, because once you have it, then you can actually start using blocks of mystical essence. And yes, this makes this process so much faster. That doing it by hand doesn't even seem like that big of a deal, honestly. So yes, you can get all the way up to supremium very, very quickly with that master infusion crystal. And voila, we have all of this essence, and we can of course tear it down as needed. Now, thankfully for the wither skulls, we don't need too much, and this is a pretty decent early game way of doing it. we are going to need soul glass, and I've gone through and automated just about everything that I can automate that involves, well, mystical agriculture. So I've gone through, made all the ingots, all of the gems, made the soulium gem and the seeds and stuff like that. So got those all set up inside of the auto crafter, and things are looking pretty good. I also went ahead and automated all the dyes too. It's just kind of tedious putting them all in. So now all I really need is the soul extractor. The soul extractor, though, by default needs to be upgraded. Otherwise it is going to be incredibly slow, and that's where all of these upgrades come into play. And so it's just a matter of starting at the base tier and slowly upgrading them all. So here's the soul extractor, and then the jars. There we go. I just got those all auto crafted and ready to go. And the jars need to go in here. You can give this power, you can just fuel it with coal, but I am going to do it this way. We are going to need coal, and coal should grant us wither skeletons. All you need is to give it a fuel source. So the jar goes over here, you give it the thing that goes in there, and then that slowly fills up the jar. This is the default speed, by the way. And you can see that was a one, this is so small. It's 1/10 of the total, and we need 8, right? So, oh man, it just gives us 0.1 worth of value. And if I put this in here, though, you're going to notice this is significantly faster. So definitely worth making this upgrade. It's going to save you a lot of time. And so we're almost ready to go. So premium essence in here, the soul jars go over here, and then last but not least, the soulium, and that's it. That gets us a wither skeleton seed, and we're on our way to nearly making nether stars. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, at least we can make wither skeleton skulls now. Just a quick boop, and there we go. And we only need a little bit of it. Let's see. To be able to make a wither skeleton skull, we need 8 of them, and then we need skull, like a blank skull, which this is quite literally just some bone from our mob farm. And let's see. Boom, perfect. We now have ourselves a wither skeleton skull, and we haven't even stepped foot in the nether. We haven't had to go to any dimension just yet, even though the end is definitely near. But there we go. So as soon as I got that placed together, now we are making the Animania essence. I think I'm saying that right. Anima essence? It's definitely anima essence. Not to be confused with enema essence. That's a totally different thing. And so I can now place all of my pedestals for decoration back down and get this all covered up. And yeah, we can also go ahead and start to remove some of the lasers just by simply adding at least 2 of the camouflage upgrades. And sorry, not camouflage upgrade, muffler upgrades. As much as we probably want to use a camouflage upgrade for the top one, I meant muffler upgrades. Yeah, we need at least 2 of those in there. Don't get me wrong though, the camo upgrade is kind of useful because we can set it to a block, and when we put it in here, the modular router turns into that block. Look at that, you don't even know it's there. So now I've effectively turned our magic automated area into, well, even more magical because it's all wireless. Now with all of the essences running, we can actually start to make some gear, and it's all passively being generated right now. We're not using source to accelerate it. But let's go ahead and buy some Mage Bloom seed. This is kind of nice that we can just up and buy this, because usually you have to craft it. It's not like it's hard to craft, but usually you do have to craft it. It is going to cost some source gems and a seed to make. But yeah, we can just easily buy it here. I kind of like that. And I'm going to put it in my mystical farm and let it auto harvest it, I think. I mean, it's not going to be too difficult for me to farm it. And us doing this farms it up really quick. Now this for me is where the fun starts to actually take place. We get to go ahead and make our first set of Ars gear. And it is going to be a lot of processing from that kind of starts from here. But first things first, we just basically place down our Mage Bloom fibers. And you can use different tiers of gear. If you start with iron or you start with diamond, it's not going to really matter. Ultimately, if we go to the AllTheModium version, we are going to be skipping most of the tiers directly anyways. And we should be able to easily get to tier 3, and then even getting into the elemental gear shouldn't be all that difficult for us. Beautiful. All of my gear, and like I said, I don't know if I should dye it because we're not even going to be in this gear for very long. And as soon as we take this up into the elemental gear, I mean, it changes colors then anyways, and it's not really changeable at that point. And then when we go even further and we use our smithing template to turn it into AllTheModium tier, I mean, that completely changes everything, and it just goes to its own color. Still can't be dyed. I think for right now, I'm just going to primarily focus on getting this leveled up. So first level is going to require some source. So I do have my source jars ready to go. Going to require some source, some blaze rods, and then we just need chorus fruit and ender pearls to take it up to tier 3. Going past tier 3, however, is going to require a mark of mastery. And this is going to be actually really important. And that means we're going to have to kill a boss. Oh, yes. So I just want to grab a few of my source jars that I had filling up from the mob farm. They fill up instantaneously. Bring this back up here. We got to place it nearby if we're going to do any of these that are going to cost source. So this will end up consuming from here. And I mean, it's just as simple as it shows. It's just 2 blaze rods. You place it in your equipment. It takes a little bit of source, levels it up. And we got to get to tier 3. And there we go. All of this up to at least tier 3 on the gear. And looking pretty good. If I go ahead and unhide this, we are in our normal Ars colored gear. I do like to mix and match. I think one of my favorite combinations is starting with like white at the top and then going to light gray, and then black for the boots. Or you can even go the opposite. But I love the gradients, and you can actually do some really interesting gradients with these. So yeah, I mean, if you're just if in the base mod, then go for it. But like I said, we're about to upgrade already to the next tier. Now, speaking of boss, I wonder, can we actually catch the boss inside of a creature catcher and then just toss it into our mob farm? I mean, taking out this boss shouldn't be that difficult for us. I mean, we could even, for example, make a Supremium sword really, really quick. I mean, it takes nothing to get a Supremium sword up and running at this point. I mean, for example, I just made the Imperium and then I basically hit U and then hold down Control to request the other components, and then those craft up basically instantaneous. And there we go. We have a Supremium sword already. So if we can't toss this into our mob farm, at least we have a backup. Now, because this boss can be a little bit weird, I do want to go into the FTB chunks map, go into claim chunks, and then claim my base, or at least this area, just to make sure this boss doesn't destroy any blocks. It still might be able to destroy blocks, which is I'm kind of worried about. But let's go ahead and get it in an area where we can spawn it. Be careful because it can destroy blocks around the brazier spawn area. So I have definitely tested that before. You can't like put it in your mob farm and summon it. It will break all of the blocks around it. So bear in mind. So we need a tablet of summon Wilden to spawn this boss. We toss in Wilden horn, spike, and also a wing. And this is everything needed to spawn in this boss. And then be ready, because things get wild from here. Now, it's supposedly supposed to play some music, but I think you have to have your music potentially turned on to be able to do this. Let's see. Can I capture it? Oh my goodness, I can. That's great. Okay, so we can take this boss, which, by the way, has a few phases. And after we have done this, let's bring it into our mob farm. And let's give this a shot. Oh yeah, that definitely works, and that's definitely getting the job done. All right. Pretty good, honestly. It's switching phases. And let's see. I want to get it pretty low. Okay, let's let it get to the next phase. All right, this one knocks me away, but I'm going to bring that in there. Okay, and that caught it, and we caught it while it was mid-phase here. I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to take it out myself. Just so I get the reward for it. For killing it by hand. Yeah, I mean, that's not cheesy at all. But to be fair, we've got to do this more than one time. So yeah, I mean, I would say that was fine on my part doing it. Another thing you can also do, by the way, if you are struggling a little bit with getting some Wilden drops early on, is you could just do the regular summon wild ritual. Place the brazier in the middle of the mob farm here, and you could just summon them directly inside of this. Just don't summon the boss in here. Don't do the boss. Boss, bad idea. But like, at least these guys, I mean, they will potentially spawn on there, and I think you just get, yeah, you get a lot because of the looting that's in there. But now after taking on the boss one more time, I now have enough. I have another Wilden tribute. This one is going to be for the spellbook. So I'm going to save that till after we kill the Wither, but we do need to get marks of mastery, and the mark of mastery, not honestly that bad. We just need all of those essences that we just made, place it inside of here, and we'll get ourselves a mark of mastery. However, we do need a full source jar to be able to complete this. With all of these around, the mark of mastery is in. And like I said, this is just much simpler than you would expect it to be. Very, very, very quick to get even to this point, especially if you've progressed through Mystical and many other mods beforehand. So there we go. Elemental Maestro, and we do get 5 of them. We are going to need 4 of them for our gear. The other one we can save and use, I believe, for some other things. I think it has some other uses. Yes, I think one of them is used to choose a focus. As of right now, I'm not really in need of a specific focus, but if you are going to be doing a certain spell, you may want to make a focus that is based around the spell element that you are going to be using. Like if you're going to be casting an air type spell, definitely make that, because it makes the cost of it way, way cheaper. So now I need to make, well, Aethermancer, or we can really do any of the elementals. Doesn't really matter. They're going to take 2 of the particular element type, a Netherite, and then a Mark of Mastery, and then a little bit of Source to be able to upgrade this to tier 4. But as soon as we upgrade to tier 4, we're immediately upgrading to tier 5. And look at the stats between these two. Armor, which is 8, and then we have armor toughness, which is 2. When we upgrade, we go to 9 and 4. And then on the chest piece here, 100 base mana. We're going to have 200 on the max mana. And then we also go from just +4 mana regen and nothing else to mana regen and also +6 spell power. Spell power is also incredibly powerful, by the way. That is what causes damage to hurt more and causes your effects to be more effective. So we're about to be powerful, baby. Yes, so powerful. Why do we need to be powerful? Well, Draconic Evolution is in here, and I still don't even think we'll be able to withstand it with this gear. But this gear also offers many benefits and allows us to dive deeper into Ars Nouveau, and we don't have to worry so much about all of our spell book and all our power and all that fun stuff, because we can just make spells that we want to make and they're just going to work. And so let the upgrading continue. And there's the last piece of gear. And this, by the way, is some drippy gear. This is some nice, I love the Ars Elemental gear. Definitely adds a nice touch. I just wish these could also be like kind of color, but this one already has that like fade from white all the way down into like the gray. So, I mean, this one's kind of nice, but we're about to get rid of this one too, because now all we need is the smithing template, and which that means we are going to need quite a bit of netherite ingots. I think I have the ability to make quite a few, because we've got to upgrade and make more of these smithing templates. And yeah, to make more of them, it's just a bunch of netherite. So now let's get this party started. So with all of the templates in place, we'll place that in template, ingot, and then we get the AllTheModium. And of course, the AllTheModium can be upgraded into Vibranium, which will be the next tier. Right here. And then of course after that we have Unobtainium. So it does still continue. We're not at the best, but we have to work towards those ingots to be able to get that. But there we go. AllTheModium. Oh, this is going to be great. This is very nice gear. Now we straight up look like a fireball. Now, some other things I should probably do: upgrade my spell book, and we need to continue upgrading it, right? But we are going to get to a point in the next tier where we need a nether star to do this, and this allows us to have higher tier glyphs. But once we go into all the mods tier with this book, then things start to get absolutely ridiculous, as it gives us even more spell slots. That way we can make our spells much longer and put more things into them, outside of the base 10, which I think is all you get. And so you can make much larger spells. I mean, I'm always down for, right? We want more slots. You know what? Getting ourselves a nether star isn't going to be that bad. We can make ourselves a wither box with some tinted glass. And, well, we just simply need to poke a hole in it and make sure it's facing away from our base, and we can spawn a wither inside of this tinted glass box, and it's not going to really go anywhere. And you know what? I think this will be a pretty good test for our base gear. So let's go ahead and spawn in a wither. Just like so. We'll get this bad boy in. And I think we should be completely fine. I'm not going to stand in here, of course. But I am going to step away just for a second. We can use our Premium Sword if need be, but honestly, I think like a damage spell, if we do like projectile and harm, without even using an amplify, will probably hurt this guy quite a bit. Yeah, because of all the amplification that we get with the spell power, look how much damage this spell does. And I'm not even using any upgrades, by the way. This is just base spell, and it is incredibly powerful. Yeah. So yeah, about you not liking this mod. What's the reason again? I see you guys when you comment. I see them. So you know what? Let's go ahead and, oh, that's right. We also need a totem of undying. I mean, this isn't that difficult to get either, unless we have a wandering trader. I mean, there is this, the tablet of challenge, which we could definitely use, and I think would be absolutely hilarious. This basically spawns in a raid. It's pretty easy, really. Now with this, I definitely want to use a swab. So this should challenge me with a raid and just absolutely summon one, I do believe. And it's going to spawn on this island. There shouldn't be a lot of places for them to spawn. So, I mean, yeah, they should only have a few places to go. This will definitely, though, get me a totem. So I hope. Did it cancel out? Does it need a village? Oh, it needs a village. And we technically use ours to be able to get a village as well. Conjure Island Village. And yeah, I mean, this will get the job done too. We got to make sure we're a few blocks out from the island though to do this. Now, if anything, I can always tear this entire island down if I don't like it, but temporarily placing it in, that should be fine. We do need a source jar. Yes, just a single source jar. So let's go grab one of those. I think I have a spare one. And I went out from my island about 14 blocks, give or take. Aha. And I think that's going to be just enough. Oh my goodness, it is perfect. And yeah, you are seeing this. It is building a lot of dirt. So yeah, this is one way that you could get a lot of dirt early on. It only takes one jar of source to be able to get this. But it does take a little bit of diamonds. This is going to spawn a village, and it's going to have villagers in here too. Very, very nice. I love this mod. It is so cool watching this all grow up. Oh my goodness. And this will be a good place to spawn in that raid. At least it should work with the raid. And villagers. Oh my goodness, the trees getting placed in. It's so cool watching this. This could be blended in with this. Yeah, there's the villagers right there. All right, I got villagers escaping all over the place. Not sure why, but I do got to get them back in here, I think, to be able to get this going. Let's get some fence. I just want to prevent them from jumping over here. Don't you do it. What are you doing? Need them to stay away. They're like jumping the island, which is hilarious. But now this should hopefully summon in the raid. So I hope. Aha. Yes. And it did. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. Okay. So mob swabs are ready. And I mean, we should be able to easily take out this raid. It's going to take no time at all. Oh my gosh. They spawned all the way on top of my building. Well, that's not good for them, is it? Oh my goodness. I kind of want to swab the Vindicator. That's one that I definitely want. And then we could just one-shot all of these guys. It's kind of awesome. Yep, and it definitely looks like they all just spawn up top. That's great. And right there's what I need, the Evoker. Yeah, I will go ahead and get rid of you, and look at what we got. Perfect. And we just completed the raid. And because I made this Evoker, I can make a spawn egg for it later, which is going to be really useful. But that should be everything to upgrade my spellbook. And probably the hardest part is just getting that totem, but it's made very simple with the Ars add-ons that are in here. And then after that, I mean, we've got to just go ahead and upgrade it to the AllTheModium tier. And everything will be matching now that we have the AllTheModium spellbook. Oh boy. And this has, like I said, extra pages. So we now have even more slots down here, which is just ridiculous, and I love it. Oh, also, if you're wondering why my spellbook looks kind of weird, it's because I am kind of using the dark mode. This is actually what it normally looks like, but I don't know. I like the kind of lightly darkened GUI. So I've also decided after that to go ahead and get some glyphs made, some really important ones like Extract for like Silk Touch. We also have Amplify, really important, Smelt, really important. I like Conjure Mage Light, so I can make some cool particle effects. Conjure Water, which is really nice. Heal, just a really nice utility spell anytime we need to take on any mobs. And I kind of want to clear out this island. Now that we got that done, I have no need for this island anymore. And I could use Ore Excavator, or I could build a really fun spell. So let's do like Projectile, and then we'll do Break, and then AoE, and we can make this pretty darn large. And then also throw Pickup on there so it picks up all of the blocks. And let's just see what that looks like. I don't want it to clear my current island. So how big was the range on this? I mean, it's pretty big. It's not anything I think I have to worry about. It did go all the way out to here. So let's do this. Oh boy, my inventory, it must not have reached. That is honestly wild. Okay. But yeah, I mean, you can see we are still in need of other things to help with mana, like enchants that we definitely want to put on here. And there's also some trinkets that are really, really helpful from Ars. For example, by the way, the regeneration necklace, that's going to give us a little bit of a buff. Does cost a little bit of diamonds, very, very cheap to make. And then also the ring of greater discount. And I think you can have more than one of them. Yeah, we have 2 ring slots, so we can definitely put 2 of those in there. And that makes the cost of our spells reduced by 20, so reduced by 40 overall. That'd be pretty helpful. And I think this is the last little bits. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I've got the island cleared up, and now I have a ton of dirt. Okay. I could sieve it if I needed anything to be sieved now. Like I should have done that early on. I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of the wither spawn cage for right now. I need to find a better solution. Usually I like to put this in like the end, but we haven't gone to the end just yet. Now there's still one more thing that I really want to do. I want to send source around. As of right now, I am going to need to grab like a few filler blocks. So let's use some slime real quick. And right here is where I want to have a source relay. And I want this to lead into this. So to be able to do this, I think you select the position. Let's see, connection cleared. So we right click and we just simply right click on the position that we want to set to, I think. And it should tell us sending to one location. So it's taking there and sending here. And then if we right click here and see is send to here, and kind of go in that position, right? So if we want to send to something, we click on the thing we want to send from and then click on it. Same, I want to send from here to here. So I click there first, sent to this location. And then if I want to send this one to another position, I think this can travel by default like up 32 blocks. So I'm unsure if it will reach all the way up here, but it's definitely worth a shot. And am I right in the center here? I think this is right in the center. Will it reach to here? Too far away. So yeah, we are going to have to find a nice medium point. I might just build up like 32 blocks. There we go. That should be good. So we'll right click the position here. Click to this one. That's linked. Click this. Send to that position here to here. We definitely don't need this one, but I like having it. And then we're going to take from here and send to a relay splitter. And this allows us to send source to all the jars, and we can put jars in front of all of these. Now, something like this should look pretty good. And then on the front here, I'm just going to place the jars like this. And then on this, I don't know if this has priority based on the first click position, but we want to take from here and send to here. Take from here, send to here. And then we will keep repeating this process all the way through like so. And beautiful. We should now be evenly distributing all of the source that we have gathered. And it is definitely helping accelerate our crafting processes here. Also, it's helping accelerate our crafting of the gems and everything. So now all of our essences should be generating much, much quicker. And this is just coming from the mob farm. And with that, we still have a lot more to do. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And definitely give this video a huge thumbs up. And also don't forget to comment down below what I asked at the beginning of the episode. Of course, if you still remember. And well, with that, it's now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Orbit. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. You absolute boss. And of course, don't forget it is World Download Day. So if you are a supporter of any tier, be sure to get your world download, of course, in the description. And it is definitely on the Discord. Everything is handled on the Discord, so be sure to join that. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.